Hey everyone, and welcome to lab number 9 with my series of VCP labs. And in today's video we will have a look on managing VMFS data stores. So we will learn how to create VMFS data store for ESXi host, expand a VMFS data store to consume unused space on a LAN, remove a VMFS data store, and extend a VMFS data store by adding a LUN. Okay, so let's jump to the task. As you can see, we are already logged into the vCenter. To create VMFS data store for ESXi host, let's click on the data store icon. As you can see, we have a data store already created, and we have a iSCSI data store, as you remember from previous video. So let's go back to our hosts, and let's select the host number 1 and right click on it, and from the menu we are choosing storage and new data store. Now the new data store wizard will open, and we are going to select type VMFS. Let's click next. Over here, let's name our data store VMFS-2, and we will be selecting the LAN which has capacity of 11 gigabytes. So let's click on it and click next. Now we will select VMFS-6, click next. On the partition configuration, let's move the slider to show us 8 gigabytes, or we can just like type in like if we want to have like 11, or we can change like to 8 by just typing over there, and click next. Once we're ready, just click finish. Okay. And we see the task has been completed. So let's check, and we can see our data store is here. And what is interesting, as we can see, that the allocated space is not 8 gigabytes, it is a bit less. Some space has been allocated to system overhead, and that's the regular and common thing. Now let's create VMFS data store on the specific LAN, but a bit different way. So we are clicking on the data store icon, and from here we right click on our data cluster, and then we go for storage, and we are selecting new data store. Again, we are selecting VMFS, and we called this data store VMFS-3. And now look, we have to, and now we can select host. Okay, so let's select host number 1, and now we have available LANs which we can connect. So let's choose the LAN with the 7 gigabytes and click next. Again, VMFS-6, click next, and this time we will be using the full capacity. So click next and finish. And we have another data store added. Now let's learn how to expand a VMFS data store to consume unused space on the LAN. As you remember from a few seconds ago, for the VMFS2 we used 8 GB instead of 11. So now we use that particular LAN to increase data store capacity. Okay? So let's highlight that data store and right click on it. Now we have option to increase data store capacity. Let's do it. And we can see that this is the LAN which we are working on. Click next. And now we can use unused space. So let's see what other options. We don't have other options. We can choose 1 GB, and as you can see on the picture, we still have some space, 2, and finally the full 3. We use all 3 GB. Obviously, you see it's not the full 3 GB, and click next. Okay, once we're happy, then click finish. And soon we should see the capacity increased to 10.75. So that's how you increase unused space. Now let's talk about the removing VMFS data store. Okay, so let's choose this data store, right click on it, and now select delete data store, and yes, that's it. Data store is deleted. The last task for this lab is to use a second LAN to extend the size of data store based on the first LAN. You extend the capacity of a VMFS data store when extra storage space is needed. So let's have a look. In the navigation pane, let's select our data store which we want to work on. Okay, let's select configure page, and in the general section we have option to increase. Okay, let's click and see what will happen. Okay, we see that we have a wizard for increasing data store capacity. We have available one LAN with 7 GB, and we'll be using this one. It was previous our VMFS3 LAN, but as you remember a few seconds ago we deleted that. So let's select and click next. Now again we can use the whole available partition, or we can use a portion of it. It's up to you. We can use the whole one and click next. Read the summarization page and click finish. So you see the total capacity. It will change very quickly. That's done. As you can see, from 10.75 it went up to 17.5. And that is it for today's lab. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment or question if you have one. Check my Twitter @AngrySysOps.